John sensed something was wrong with his wife Tamara, a premonition that made him rush home. When he arrived, what he saw made his blood run cold. If you don't want to miss other incredible stories like this, subscribe to the channel. But now I wish you a good viewing. John and Tamara had recently married and had decided to move into his family home, an old mansion in Borgo San Lorenzo. Tamara was a sweet and patient young woman in love with her husband and ready to build a life together. John, a strong and hard-working man, worked in a nearby factory and earned enough to support them both. Although they had their hopes and dreams, they found themselves dealing with the reality of living under the same roof as John's mother, Emma, a strict and traditional woman. The house was huge, built by John's father to accommodate a large family. In addition to them, there were also the man's siblings: Mark, who served in the army, Tom, a lively teenager, and Lily, the youngest, still a student. Emma ruled the house with an iron fist and expected Tamara to adapt without complaint. In the early days, Tamara tried to settle in and help out around the house. She woke up early every morning to prepare breakfast with Emma, and once John left for work, she took care of the cleaning. However, Emma was never satisfied. She was constantly giving orders, making her feel like a servant rather than a member of the family. "Tamara, clean the dishes and then go to the rooms. Lily will be home from school, and I want everything to be perfect," Emma ordered sternly. Tamara, although tired, did everything without complaint, hoping to win her mother-in-law's approval. But as the days passed, Emma's demands became more and more oppressive. Tamara didn't have a moment to respite. She washed the clothes by hand, cleaned every corner of the house, and prepared the meals, while Emma limited herself to giving orders. John began to notice that something was wrong. Tamara seemed increasingly tired and pale, and her vivacity was fading day by day. Whenever he asked her what was bothering her, she would smile faintly and reply, "I'm just getting used to the new house." One day, an accident at the factory forced John and his colleagues to return home earlier than expected. Happy to have a free afternoon to spend with his woman, he decided to surprise her. He bought a cake and a bottle of champagne, imagining the smile on his wife's face. But when he got home, she wasn't there to greet him. "Where's Tamara?" he asked Emma, who answered absent-mindedly, "She's probably at the river." If you like the story, would you be kind enough to leave a like? Thank you so much for your support. John, his heart pounding, hurried down the path to the river. Every step was filled with anxiety, thoughts racing through his mind, a spiral of fears and questions he couldn't find an answer to. The sound of the rushing water brought him ever closer to the moment he feared, a moment that could change everything. Worry for his wife grew inexorably inside him, turning into a sense of panic that accelerated every breath, every movement. And when he finally reached the shore, his world seemed to stop for an eternal moment. Her eyes, filled with tears that reflected a silent pain, looked up at him. "My love, what are you doing?" John asked, his voice a mixture of disbelief and anguish. His girlfriend stared at him, unable to find the words, and at that moment, all her pain exploded in uncontrollable tears while John took her in his arms, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. John ran home and confronted Emma, furious. "Mom, I brought my wife here, not a maid!" he shouted. Emma, impassive, replied that his girlfriend was simply doing her wifely duty. But John did not accept those words. "Not anymore. She will not wash your clothes. She will not clean your house. We will live apart from you." He was determined to protect the woman, and after a fierce argument, he managed to get a share of the house just for the two of them. Tamara finally had some breathing space, even though Emma continued to throw barbs and orders at him. One day, as the sun began to warm the garden, the woman went out with a heavy basket of wet clothes. Every step was an effort, but she consoled herself with the thought that she would soon be finished. Just as she was about to hang the first sheet, she felt something trip over her feet. Lily, with a mischievous grin, had tripped her. Tamara lost her balance and fell heavily to the ground. A searing pain pierced her belly, and in an instant of pure terror, everything went dark. When she opened her eyes again, she was in the hospital with John at her side, his eyes marked with concern. "Everything will be okay, my love," John said in a small voice, but the woman understood immediately. She had lost the baby she had been carrying for 6 months. The news was devastating for both of them, and John felt guilty for not realizing how much his wife was suffering sooner. After the accident, John decided to rent a small house just for them. There, Tamara began to recover, thanks to John's love and support. She found a job at the local library, and their life finally seemed to be returning to normal. Then, one day, the young woman discovered she was pregnant again. The news brought a new light into their lives. John worked hard to build a new and bigger house for his family. When their first daughter was born, the couple's happiness was uncontainable. A few months later, she was pregnant again, and their family was growing even more. John and Tamara's relationship with their family remained strained. But that didn't matter to them. They had their family, their love, and that was all they needed.